What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Top Podcast. I am your host, Michael Jordan. No, I don't play basketball. Again, here I am with a guest. It's weird for me to have guests this often. Literally two, but still weird nonetheless. But we must go forward, we must evolve, we must adapt, we must bring engaging content because that is what content creators do. So, without further ado, I will let my guests introduce themselves because who better to tell you about them than themselves? What's going on?
First off, intro was bars. Hi guys, what's going on? My name is Sivers Tha Third. I am a rapper, singer, songwriter from Barbados. And I'm glad to be here. Just here to chat. Cut it up.
We ain't cutting nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a terminology, bro.
I know. I'm messing with
you. Killing me. I got you.
Right.
Just watch it. You know what I mean? Gotta cover your bases.
Well, plausible deniability. I don't. I'm not an accessory.
I got you.
So, why Sivers the Third? Is that like, are you the third Sivers, or is that just like a?
You're the first person to ever get that on your first go, bro. That is so crazy. Yeah, my last name is Sivers, and I am the third child of my family. So that is legit why I call myself that. Before that, I used to go by Kevin Diaz, which again was like my middle name and my first and last initials. And that was also during an era where every rapper was naming themselves like common names, like Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, like just a name.
Yeah, exactly.
So why'd you change it?
But I Sivers Tha Third just felt more natural, man. I felt like I was being more personal in my music. Before I felt like I was kind of learning what I wanted to rap about, sing about, rap on, talk like musically. And that style kind of changed as I got older. Obviously, I became more mature.
When did you start?
I was rapping. I would say 13 was when I really started, and I would say I took it seriously like just after I finished university. So that would be like around 21, so like 4 years ago. I've been consistently trying to make this work. I used to write in a writing camp called Creos Entertainment, which was pretty much the same writing camp that Cover Drive belonged to. And I got to meet a lot of dope people, kind of learned a little bit about the industry, so that's where I really got my official start during my teenage years, I would say.
So rapping has always been something you wanted to do.
Yeah, I've always been interested in music, full stop. I wasn't so sure on the rapping side. I was more into writing good songs. And then hip hop has always been something I followed, and I just always wanted to add like a story to the pot. I feel like a lot of rappers from here previously, some of these stories that they were trying to convey weren't exactly authentic enough, and I wanted to kind of like create that own discography of myself. Like, what is it like living in Barbados? You know what I mean? Like, what are the struggles that I go through? And on that other level, like, no matter where you live in the world, there's just common shit that always happens, girls, dating, loss, failure, success, depression, etc., etc.
Okay, so what makes you different?
What makes me different from everybody else is that I think I sound like myself. I think that my musical style is definitely, I have my own voice. I have my own flowing patterns. I don't necessarily sound quote unquote Beijing, but I don't necessarily quote unquote sound American. And I don't try to claim anything. I just try to be myself.
So I listened to the album, which, mind you, is probably the first Barbados quote unquote album that I've ever listened to. Because
I didn't do before.
Majority of the times it's like maybe 4 songs, maybe 5, and they never come out together as like one here, one day.
Yeah, consistency, man. Me and my manager talk a lot about that, like the point of being consistent with the content that you put out.
Right.
I would say the only other two projects that I have listened to top to bottom, well, three, is a rapper here called Barry G. He had a mixtape called Bars of Life. More recently, Tef. He has a project called Get Up Good. And before that would be artist named Blow Smalls. He had a project called Fish Scale that I liked a lot. But aside from that, like you don't really see a lot of Barbadians. Shout out another artist. You know, I keep doing this, but Shay Bascom. He had a project called Naomi that recently came out. But yeah, it's music in Barbados has been changing. It wasn't really the thing, or most of the time it's like money wise too, like the cost of getting a song mixed and mastered. So it's half the artist, half the drive, you know.
Fair enough. I don't know. I obviously
You see that different opinions on that.
yeah, it's like I don't know half these people. I know I know one person,
fair.
and I listened to his like older stuff, and I was like, well, this it doesn't really appeal to me. No, not to him. It just didn't appeal to me.
Got you.
But so again, I did listen to yours, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling the. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say vibe. I don't want to say it because I hate
because it's still the atypical response.
I hate vibe. Vibe annoys me so much. It's such a blanket term for everything. These I speak in vibes. What the hell does that mean?
I get you.
I like the sound. I like the flow. It's good. It's actually good. And again, there's no knock to anybody else that produces music or whatever in Barbados. It's just that I'm not a soca man. I'm not a whatever it is that they make these days that they play on radio and I don't understand.
Me neither. So I agree.
Those aren't my genres. My genres are R&B, rap, and then some other weird ones down the line. But these ones aren't for me personally. They're not for me. And the rap that I have heard, I was just like, so okay, so you want to be American? I get it. I can see why you would, but that's not for me either. You know. All right. What do you love about music?
I think it's a space for me to be. It's almost like a trippy experience, man. I know a lot of artists couple and say that, oh, this is my therapy. I put my pain and my heart into it, but it really is a therapeutic setting where it's like you are yourself, but at the same time you're writing storylines for this person that is Sivers Tha Third. So a lot of times, sometimes I'd be writing songs and it'd be like past conversations or like traumatic experiences, and I just use the songs as like a vacuum to kind of get them out. Like, so I got a song on the project called Paranoid. That was just literally a conversation between me and a girl I was talking to, dating at the time. And, she was saying like, oh, well, she was into modeling and she's about having a lot of kids, so you can't be messing up my figure, blah, blah, blah. No, real thing, like real spit. So and then the second verse was kind of like my response to who I think she is. You know what I mean? Like going out with your friends.
Ain't no babies in this stomach.
Exactly. She was like, I got a certain look, and you ain't fucking up my modeling career.
Wow.
To prove your viscosity, that's the word. Yeah, to prove your manhood or whatever. But yeah.
Well, viscosity is on her end. Manhood would be on ours.
Exactly. So it was like
that's wild.
It was like I just use conversations I have with people and throughout time, and I just kind of use my music as a vacuum to kind of rationalize. Like, okay, so why would she say that? Like, what's going on with her? You know what I mean? Not that I'm using my accent material, but
I mean, you quite literally did.
But no one knows who the person is. Though,
but that's what. Did you clear it with her first though?
We all good. Did she clear with her? No, I did not, because it's my experience and I hear the talk. You know what I mean?
So basically,
no one know who that person is.
I'm more talking about her because you know how ladies don't attack me for this, but y'all, nothing like a woman scorned. So,
Oh boy, nah, we good. I'm still very good friends with that person to this day.
okay, so you probably should have cleared it first. Just saying.
Yeah, I probably should, but she doesn't listen to my music like that, so
Oh, that
I'm
sucks.
I'm Gucci.
That would have made for an interesting conversation. It's like, what was her response? Did she get on the beat too? It just
You know what? Now that you tell me that, I will do that. I'll let her hear the song, and then I'll write a song about her response. Paranoid Part 2 brought to you by Michael Jordan. I got you, bro.
I'm just saying, managerial fees are 20%. So
actually, the industry standard is 10%, but I got you.
not on this platform.
Fair.
We go for a staunch 20% here. All right.
Oh shit, that's the baseline.
Yeah, bare minimum.
Yeah, but I just use music as kind of like a vacuum to kind of deal with a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of things that have happened to me, and just try to verbalize the madness. Because I feel like a lot of times, especially as men, we don't really like deal with emotional like problems. We just be like, "My good man, it's strong."
I mean,
I keep moving on, keep chugging on, and then one day you and your fat waiting for a milkshake and you back down and you don't even know what to do.
This sounds like you were waiting for a milkshake and you broke down.
Nah. That was the first random thing that came to my head.
I don't know. It sounded pretty authentic, so I'm not sure.
Nah, we good.
I know, but I get you though. I have been out and just randomly got angry for no reason. It's like, oh yeah, hold on, what?
Exactly. And it comes from nowhere, bro. Sometimes you would a scent or like something you saw or something you were looking at would just trigger you, and you'd be like, "Wait."
Well, definitely smells. Definitely smells.
That's because of this and this and that and that. And I was like, okay.
I definitely smelled perfume that an ex used to wear, and I was just like, ugh. It smells great, but it's like, ugh.
Hope it was good perfume.
No, it smells great. It's just that the smell is attached to her. So now I'm like, can you leave, please? Like,
bro, you back to the time.
Yeah, I don't need this.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously in music, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for everybody to kind of sound the same because obviously you want to appeal to the masses. You want that little bit of mind share as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how did you develop your own personal style? How did you fight against the... Sorry, we're cutting you off. How did you fight against the overwhelmingly easy path of just making what everybody else makes to make money?
No, that's two-part. I'm going to change my answer just a little bit. I'll say that at first I started off imitating a lot. It would just be like my musical influences, which would have been like Biggie Smalls, which would have been a Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, I would say Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Kid Cudi. Like those were what I was really listening to in the beginning stages. So you would hear a lot of my bars and my topics, music that has never been released, never will be released. That I was rating, the kind of like imitated those styles, and then I kind of had to like come to the realization that I am not a gangbanger or a gangster, and I do not live in LA or Compton, or I'm not from New York City. So then after that, I was just like, okay, well, now that all my good content is gone, what am I going to talk about now? And I just slowly over time, I think even now you can still hear like the influences that I do have, which is like, the Kendricks, the J. Cole's, the Isaiah Rashads, etc., etc.
Oh wow, Isaiah Rashad, boy, you
yeah,
oof.
top lyricist. That's one my guys. I like that. I like the way he creates music. Yeah. So I would say that after a while I got more comfortable because I wasn't really even into like being this personal on music until like I would say later in my career, like 19, 20. Early on, it was very, very shallow, very surface level, and it didn't connect. I think Bridgestone was really the breakthrough song that really changed the way I wrote songs,
right.
because everybody seemed to just gravitate to that song because even though it's a re-release, because I had originally put out Bridgestone like 4 or 5 years ago,
Right.
but obviously I did not understand marketing or having videos or none of that, nor did I have the budget for any of that shit because it was at school. Student loans is a thing, you know what I mean? So
I don't know what you mean. No, I don't.
I said, nah, never. And then after that, like 4 years later, I put it back out when I had a team together and people to do video, people do song, record label, which is Red Out Records that we building, and it did well. It did way better than I expected it to go. I got nominated for the Gainon Awards Hip Hop Artist and Song of the Year. So, and even before that, I knew that song was just like an amazing song. But it kind of changed the way I wrote because it was authentic. I was talking about living in Barbados. I was talking about Barbadian experiences and even the darker side of things, you know, like corrupt politicians and you know, it's not all sugar and sun and sand and beaches here.
Sunshine and rainbows, man.
And that's what they market Barbados like. It's just, oh, come to Barbados. There's nothing going on here.
I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, you know. So, yeah, man. The second part to your question is, you asked me how I started, and then
how did you develop your own style, and then how did you fight against the words? How did you fight against the easy path forward?
Well, the easy part is I tried writing soca songs. I did write one, and I was paid significantly well for it, and it felt terrible. I felt like I sell my soul, and I was like, we're not doing that again.
Yeah,
and I was so glad that I did that at a very young age. It wasn't anything that would ever come out. I was just probably like 15, 16. I was strapped for cash, and I was given the opportunity, so I wrote it. You know what I mean? But
your bank account wasn't upset though.
No, it was not. But yeah, I decided to shift focus because I understand that Barbados is predominantly a soca-based industry, but at the same time, there
only
are
on the
other
surface.
artists. Yeah, exactly. There are other artists out there that do exist that are doing alternative genres and being successful, but there's a lot of problems in the local music industry too. So my parade now is a two-fight battle. I want to build my career and still try to rectify some of those problems that are here. But the song is, bro, I just felt fake, bro. I would not do soca, or I would probably do R&B or reggae, but nah, I just not. It wasn't for me.
That's a great segue because one of my questions here on my list of questions is...
Segue.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. This is all new. All very new. About the industry, right? Because obviously somebody on the outside, such as myself, would not know the inner works of said industry. So for somebody that doesn't know, explain a little bit about how you traverse said industry, because you said there's issues. If you can, I would like to know what some of these issues are, and then how do you go about traversing them?
I would say, first off, there's a lot of, on the soca side of things, which I'm not personally a part of, but just from seeing and knowing friends that are in the industry, there's a lot of politics about, like, you know, who wins what, who writes this song for what competition, the way they write said song, how it's composed. So I won't really go a lot into that because that's not my field of expertise. But what I will say from my side, just being a I'm guessing non-national, because says so because like the national genre, being in a non-national genre, I would say some of the problems are infrastructure for sure. So like there's no business in the sense that, like, okay, for soca artists there's a price. This is how much you get paid for performing. This is the next level you could go to. These are the different tiers. You know, you got the little ricks, you got the hyper songs, and then below that, you know, you got the newer acts like the moles and etc. And then, you know, there's like a clear cut out path that you can follow. You know what I mean? DJs will spin your song and during crossover time. Therefore, you use the outside season to record your music. Like there's a blueprint to some extent. For like hip hop, where do you start? You know, who do you go to? Who is a big hip hop artist from here that you have access to? You know what I mean?
None.
Yeah, no, what you were gonna say?
None. No, I said none.
Yeah, you know, who is a big hip hop artist from here that you have access to? Who is a big non-traditionalist artist, you know, that
Or
you have
DJ.
access to? Like, yeah, or DJ. Like, you don't have access to Rihanna. You don't have access to Chantel. You don't have access to Eddie Grant like that. You know what I mean? So how do you where do you go? The other thing is that a lot of promoters, I feel like I always talk about promoters in my life. They can feel like I coming to like demonize them or hang them at a stake.
Listen, if you need to hold them accountable for the things that they do, hold them accountable. Because obviously, if you just out here trying to make money as opposed to being for the craft, and you're on the side of the craft, we'll say, hey, fucking up the craft.
Yeah, so on the other side, there are a lot of promoters out here that will, you know, tell hip hop artists, oh, you know, perform for experience. You know, I realize that you growing and you need to come here and, you know, like, I got the venue and the stage and blah, blah, blah.
Now you're going to pay me.
Because of that, I was like, well, fuck, experience, bro. I'm going to start doing my own shows. And I did. For a period of time, I did like 4 hip hop shows at the Pool of Barbados, formerly known as Reggae Lounge. And yeah, we were doing that for a while. So obviously I stopped for different reasons, which I will not go into. But yeah, I just always found a problem with the infrastructure, the industry. There was also a problem on quality with like people's mix and masters. There's also a quality of how the song versus everything else. So I was heavily invested in trying to solve these problems while still trying to your question, how I navigated. I just watched a lot of interviews of like artists that went through that same struggle with their own local place. A lot of them found the solution of moving to a bigger city.
So that's not a solution then.
That's the thing. I guess some people would say that they ran away from the problems, but sometimes it's be very hard to cultivate something in your city, especially when you feel like no one cares about it. But I do have a contrary belief to that. I feel like Bajans do care about hip hop. The question is, do they care about local hip hop artists? Other question is, do they care about local hip hop artists' music? And then the flip side to that question will also be, is the music that the artist creating correlating with the people? Does it resonate with the people? Well, and we already live in an era where people's attention spans are so small. There's a lot of things you gotta combat on, but if you get focused on everything that could go wrong, you would never make. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that the music necessarily has to correlate with the people listening, because as you would know, the only time soca plays is during soca time for the most part, and then outside of that, it is either American or it's reggae or it's Jamaican, and that's just being real, you know.
Or Trini.
Or Trini, you know. Mind you, I don't particularly listen to any, like, I don't really listen to Jamaican music. It's just not. It's, I don't know. I used to, you know, back in the drop leaf rhythm days and all those kind of things. But yeah. You know, when I used to frequent the strip clubs, I would listen to the slacker side. But outside of that, it's like, I don't really want to hear this every day. Like, but I'm weird, right? So my all time favorite rapper is Joe Budden, right? So
okay,
and people will be like, "What? That doesn't make sense. What? That doesn't make sense." But you know, I just prefer the honesty in the music, right? And I can't relate to anything that he's saying because I ain't never done drugs like that, so I can't relate. But hearing his story and how honest he has been throughout the years, I'm like, I can deal with this. Not to say that everybody else is telling lies or anything. It's just that that resonated with me, so I listened to it. So I think it's more of a case where less of like, am I going through this, or the let me see, the effect that it has on me when I listen. Because whenever I listen to Joe, like when I'm done listening, I feel like a real nigga.
take over the world.
Like I feel, I don't know what it just feels like I'm a real nigga. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It just, when I finish listening to a Joe Budden album, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm that nigga.
I feel you. That's your go-to artist. I get you.
I won't say go to, but he is. I will never not have him on a playlist of rap music, of course. So you're saying that the infrastructure for music in Barbados is severely lacking. Is all right. So you know how in the States there's a clear like music industry, right? As somebody trying to traverse the realm, would you say that we have something so clear and pronounced as well, or is it just a bunch of guys in a room and then who know each other that know each other doing music?
Oh, bro, when you put it like that, bro, it could be a little bit of both. I think there is definitely no traverse. There's no levels. There is no levels to this shit in Barbados. You know what I mean? In my opinion, there are a few that stand a cut above Friendly Rest, but at the same time, all of us kind of in the same position because of the problems that exist. It is a very tight-knit industry because, again, the genre is, I wouldn't say small, but it is saturated, but a lot of people that do rap kind of know each other.
Right.
I will say that unlike America, there's no, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you get a poppin' song, there's no genius to review it, or there is no Joe Budden podcast to go on, or there is no rap caviar to talk to. There is no real way to promote your music in a vacuum or a schedule.
All
Most of the time, DJs here won't probably even play your stuff unless you have like a personal relationship with them or like a working relationship with them. So yeah, there are ways to traverse the industry, but there is no set. You kind of gotta create your own model.
So
I have my own model now.
Basically, what he's saying, guys, to anybody that does music and is listening, Off the Top podcast, Off the Top media, Mike Off the Top. I'll talk to you. Shit.
I got you.
I'll talk to you. Like,
Small plug.
Because it's not small. It's I won't even say it's a plug, because the way I look at it, right? This podcast is essentially a journey.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I started to record in a time where there was the most turmoil that I have felt in a very long time. So what I do is that I share the things that help me traverse my life.
Yeah.
But a part of life is business, arts, crafts, jobs, careers. So if I can talk to anybody that could probably give somebody else that's listening an insight or a path or something that helps for them to get where they want to go, I'll do it. Because mindset is nothing without action, right? So if you have a bunch of mindsets, but you don't have like an actionable plan, it's just a bunch of knowledge that you in turn feel bad about, because now you have this knowledge and you're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
So by speaking to people in industries and getting, insights, maybe they can come up with an actionable plan. And I think there's value in that.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I would say for myself, building a team was really the foundation of, like, now I have a definite trajectory of where I want to go. I would say it took me a couple of years to get there, probably longer than it should have, but now I kind of know, like,
everything in this course.
How a rollout process works. We have a distributor now for a record label, which works with the Orchard, which is like a Sony music group imprint. And that label that gave us that distribution deal, that's a local label called CRS, and like there's a lot of more people that are coming into my space who are veterans in the industry, and I can kind of pick their brains on where to go next. But I do have my path. My path is just work on building a solid catalog of music. So albums, mixtapes, EPs, and
shows.
Just kind of grinding it out. You know what I mean? I think that's the other thing. A lot of artists are and it's not just a Barbadian thing, but they're afraid to fail. So, you know, they would have a song and they would sit on that song for so long and they would drop that song and then they would promote that song for like 2 weeks. And then that's it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, I got 100 people ain't really fucking with it. So I just pushing it. You know what I mean? But it's a process. Artists in America, Australia, Canada, they work their songs for at least a month, at least 2 months, sometimes years before it breaks through. You know what I mean? That Fetty Wap, I don't know if you're familiar with him, that had the Trap Queen song. But he worked that song for 4 years before it blew up. You know what I mean? So it's all about, do you have a song that you believe in? Do you have a project that you believe in? And that's why I feel like Thirdian Theory is that project for me. Like I'm doing the good work, going out there, talking to people, reaching out to platforms, making videos, you know, doing collaborations. Some collaborations that I really excited I got coming up too. And just having this conversation with you and just looking for other people who are in Barbados, who are in creative industry, the entertainment industry, because to some level what we do is for entertainment. Yeah, and just building that, cutting out that like foundation. So like, oh, well, all right, I see that Sivers doing videos and you putting on an album, he did singles and he did this, and when things open back up, he's gonna do a show, and you know, like they're making do a show with other artists too, collab, make money, split the money. Why go to a promoter who's gonna pay you like $100, $1,000, and you can, you know, save up, take the money, throw your own show, and split the profits 50-50, 30-30, whatever it is, you know. So yeah.
I hear you. Well, you know, I kind of feel the same, because obviously I do everything myself, right? Everything. Mm-hmm. So, and then obviously I see other podcasts popping up, and they're all basically on one network. And
yeah, funny that you said that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, if that's the path that you want to take, that's 100% okay. It's just that for me, and obviously there's no podcast industry here at all.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a tough task to get people to be into podcasts, especially podcasters from Barbados, because, you know, you got all the bigger ones from everywhere else. But I think the key to this and going forward would be uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
And having your own brand and style of doing things. And for me, the name is quite literally how I do things. It is off the top of my head, quite literally. And and for when I produce these things, it is, you can feel how genuine I am when I say these things. No one can censor me here. Like any issues I deal with. So for these other guys who do what they do, and that's fine. It just, when you all bunched up under one umbrella, and you're not having like a clear.
And I mean, is the content good though? Like, I mean, I guess we as creatives always don't want like say nothing bad about another creative's work. Well, I guess let me say that in like the music industry for rap, like nobody's don't want to say nothing bad about other rappers.
Well, that's not true. that's where the diss track comes in.
I mean, locally that's pretty much the case. Like someone would, you know, mess with something, and they double tap it, they share it. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, if you see me share something on social media, I'm genuinely interested.
Well, Bajans are passive aggressive, so
yeah, you know,
they're not actually aggressive.
I feel like that's kind of like a detriment to us though. Like, if you have a lot of, sometimes I would hear music, and this is not just like Barbadian, but this is just in general. I would hear hip hop songs, and I'd be like, bro, like,
what the fuck is this?
Nobody in your room, 97 homies that you roll with, ain't tell you, bro, like, this is not
it. What the fuck is this?
Even bigger artists, like, I'm just like, bro, your label let you put out, like, they literally sat here and I was like, yeah, no, that's fire. Let me go with this shit.
That's how I feel about all music these days.
Shit. Oh wow, you're killing them.
It's like, what are you talking about? Nah, I can't. No. No. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm just, you know, a nerd for lyrics.
Your head, bro.
Maybe I'm just a nerd for lyrics. I like lyrics. I like that when I listen to it, I gotta rewind and say, wait, hold on. What the fuck was that? What?
Nah, the man want talk about popping per cassette. and using
Uh,
Travis Scott to
uh,
check. You know what I mean?
I don't need that. You keep that. I don't. All right. I'll let the other people listen to that. That's fine. Do what you're doing. All the kudos to you. But for me, it's all right. I'll do it without. And I don't know. I prefer to have my own branding, have my own lane, and I will let people. I listen to constructive criticism. You know, I honestly do. But
But
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't. There has
I
to be a
think
lane. There has to be
you
a
know
lane,
the
and somebody
defense.
has to do it.
I will say that in Barbados now, like the artists that exist, the crop of artists that we have now, there is so much diversity, bro. Like there really is. Like there are so many people. There are people that are doing like I would say what I'm trying to do, which is as it was told, like I'm trying to be a lyrical, miracle, spiritual rapper. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I guess they
It
talk
means that
about
your
Eminem.
music has actual substance, like
I mean,
actual substance. I listen. I sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna go off for a second. Listen, listen to me, right? I try to be a part of the things that go on in Barbados. I honestly try to be, and maybe I'm a prune, maybe I'm an old head that just miserable, but like a lot of the things is just fuckery. Like
oh
it's
shit.
just fuckery. It's just like, you know what? I can just say something when I turn on the mic. and I, and I tell you, don't do it. I'm not telling anybody don't do anything. But as a person that built the way that I am built, I am more than okay to just excuse myself from all of the stuff because I like lyrics. Especially when it comes to music, I don't just want to hear things in my ear. If I just want to hear things in my ear, I'd call somebody that's upset. like
Oh shit, that's crazy, bro. You well, but I understand what you're saying though.
I
I
listen. I
understand.
have like, and because I say these things doesn't mean that, you know, I am intentionally trying to be an asshole or whatever. Because I can be if I wanted to. But what I'm saying is that how does it help? How does it help us? Us being independent people, us being new creatives, us being Barbados. How does it help us step outside of 14 by 22?
I think what happens is that people see the artist blow up, but they don't understand that they have a machine behind them doing certain things. Because like, okay, for example, let's talk about the new sound of hip hop, like the whole drill, pop smoke, UK, that kind of
Well,
style
they
that
all
we're
sound the
talking,
same, so
right? Yeah, they all sound the same, but they all have a machine behind them that makes sure and ensures their success to a certain level. There are exceptions to the rule, yeah, but my whole point is there are 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 rappers in New York doing the exact same thing the bigger artists are doing, pushing the exact same content, probably with better videos, probably with better connections. What makes you think that you in Barbados kind of like following the same wave that the bigger artists are doing will stand out among your peers? Because to me, when I rap, I'm not competing with who in Barbados. I'm competing with everyone in the world. My competition is Kendrick Lamar, Drake, whoever rapper that has ever turned on the microphone and record. I am competing with them, and it's already a saturated market. How do you stand out? Are you giving genuine stories? Are you rapping over good production? Are you making connections with people? Are you talking to your fans? Are you building a foundation? Are you making connections? Are you trying to network? Are you looking for the people that are actually in the music industry outside of Barbados and building connections with them? Are you doing this every day? And there are artists that are out there doing that, but the majority is, I would get people asking me like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? But there's really no blueprint to this. No matter where you live, the music industry,
I
you
think
could read a million books on it.
I think you were missing what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay.
What I do respect that. There's no blueprint
No,
to
no,
anything.
no. Go ahead.
Um,
What was the point you were trying to get across?
the point I was trying to get across about the type of music that I hear, it
Mhm.
is 100% specific. It is
Ah,
you when you listen to it, it is 100% for this demographic of people on this island. And that's great.
Look, I got you.
That's great, right? But how does that help us Barbados, us you, us them? How does that help us reach beyond 14 by 22? Because it's great to assume.
Mike, some people don't. Some people don't want to reach. They want that. They won't be able to go to the party and the girls recognize who they are. They won't be able to go on radio stations and talk to the same DJ every year for the next 20 years.
That's wild.
They won't compete for the same amount of prize money, win and probably not win. You know what I mean? Like, nah, real thing that some people just comfortable doing that, bro, and you gotta let them. You can't. You no one can stop them from doing that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with it. I mean, fundamentally, like to the point you were saying, yeah, it's wrong because there's no growth, and then you will get people from like NCF and whoever that's in the art field be like, oh, we support artists and we love artists. You know what I mean? But my thing is, if you love them so much, if crop overs generate over $50 million every year, why are some of these artists out there struggling, bro?
Why is there no infrastructure?
Why they got NCF for COVID relief grants? Why they don't got money in their bank account?
But that's what I mean. But that is the issue that I'm trying to highlight. If there are people who continuously do what you just described, what happens is that it builds a wall. It builds a particular path of mediocrity that cages everybody that try. Well, not everybody, but most people that try to do the same craft. Because this is what. Oh well, say Sivers the Third comes along, and he wants to take a completely different path to the guy that does the exact same thing every year. Because that guy, his budget is this, Sivers the Third budget is this, because Sivers the Third is trying to do something else. Everybody that you go to is going to raise an eyebrow and be like, I don't know, this guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that much money. He doesn't need that much promotion. He doesn't need that much freedom. He doesn't need that much creativity, right? Because especially in Barbados, think about it this way, right? Let me give you an example. Do you think the majority of the places that now have online access to people would have done that without COVID? Fuck no. Absolutely not. We would have been doing the exact same thing for the next 15 years if something like COVID did not happen.
Wow.
So what the point I'm trying to make is that if I say we because I'm also in content creation, if we all decide to do things the exact same way or follow the exact same path, it is going to make it harder for people who want to go in a different direction or try something new to do so. Because look at it, right? The same thing you said at the beginning of the podcast. If you want to get your music out in Barbados, so to speak, you're going to have to either know a DJ or this and that and third, but you have to know somebody that knows somebody, and maybe they might feel like playing a piece of your track in their set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So how does that help the industry grow?
I mean, the simple answer to that is that it doesn't. And the rebuttal they will give you is, oh, but it's like everywhere. That is like that everywhere else in the world. And I will argue the different, like, yeah, because of streaming and the internet, that there is no longer. There are gatekeepers, no, because that's playlisted and that's a whole different conversation, like what's going on with the Spotify playlist and Apple and all that jazz. But the real answer is it doesn't, bro. It doesn't help us, and that's why I'm literally making it a part of my movement and my interviews and my talk points to be like, yo, like, you're gonna have to be like, I am not going to perform on this stage unless you pay me $1,000. I am not going to give you my verse unless you pay me X amount of money. I'm not going to give you this content for free. If you want to come, buy a concert ticket. You know what I mean? If you want to participate, buy my album on iTunes. But I feel like a lot of artists feel like you have to, like, My engineer Mixie shout out to him. He's on the record. He's part of the Red L Records team too, right? There was one thing he told me that really just changed my mind forever, and that's because he's been doing production and music in Barbados for a while. He produces for Brutal Crank Star, a lot of a wealth of dancehall artists, right? He was just like, the problem with artists is that they believe that they have to work themselves to a position to ask for pay for services. The reality is, you should be asking for pay from the beginning.
No, it's your
Even
craft.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's a small price, it's still a starting point to scale. You know what I mean? And I had to change my mentality, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Well, I thought that I had to get like this big song first, and then I could do this and do that. He's like, no, like, then how are you gonna survive? How are you gonna eat?
Because what
Then how
happens
you
is
pay your bills?
what happens
Then
is
that's
that. Sorry, go ahead.
That's why artists will then have to have day jobs and then do their music on the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what
That's
happens
crazy.
is that when you start giving your things away for free, people then expect not to pay.
Yeah, facts.
You understand? So you basically condition people that, well, I didn't pay last time, so why would I pay this time? Or I can just go find somebody else that I don't have to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all get caught up in it. It's fine, but if it is your craft and you believe in your craft, name your price.
Yeah. And he can only tell you no, bro. He always tells me that. He's like, yo, the worst they can tell you is no. And guess what? You just go and find somebody that tells you yes. And then you keep pushing. You know what I mean? And that's just been like the mentality that I've been adopting. This is not saying I wouldn't do like a collab with someone if like the fund or the budget wasn't involved, but I'm just saying that there should still be a standard in your head. There is no way that you should be like, oh, I'm not sure. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
You should have your price always there in the front of your head. You know what I mean? Or if you don't, and this is another thing, like for artists, I always say, if you don't want to have that conversation, bro, just get a manager. Let your manager talk to them. Because you manager not approaching it like, oh, this art, and they love it. You manager approaching it
No,
like,
we here to
oh,
make money.
I gain 10, 15, 20% off of whatever this is. So if this is a friendly conversation, we could do that, but it ain't going to be about my artist performing nowhere. Or doing anything.
Hey, we here to make money. So either you spend money or you don't spend money.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we just gotta keep building, bro. We just gotta keep us as artists personally. Like we're in an era where the industry now has to be built, so we can set a lot of the rules and standards for things. And as long as we stop taking things from people, like this, like stop taking free money and the easy way out, and just kind of build things ourselves. And the beautiful thing about that is, once you do that, nobody can take nothing away from you.
All right.
There's no NCF that could come and say, oh, well, we give you that COVID relief fund, so I see you making $10,000 there, so you filed for taxes this year, or there's no one that could come and like pick and prod at your process. You just gotta make the sacrifices.
Okay.
And that's like any business. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not one for bringing up issues without at least proposing a couple solutions. So give me a few solutions that you believe would make a big headway into either changing or creating a stable industry. So it'll be either changing or creating a stable industry.
I think, so I would say I think artists should come together and form teams. Get somebody to be your manager, get somebody to be your producer, get somebody to be your artist. Your team can be diverse as possible as long as they're relevant to what you're trying to do. After you establish that, like find a place where you can record and get your tracks sound in a certain quality or way. It don't gotta be amazing. It don't gotta be miracle spiritual. I mean, like, look at what was going on with XX Tentacion, rest in peace. Like his production and mixings at the time weren't exactly A1, but the songs conveyed the point. You know what I mean? So if a DJ telling you, man, I can't play your song on the radio because of that mix, that's a lie. Fuck that person. He's telling you like the song. He just don't like the song and he don't want to tell you so. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, the music that I heard on the Stan Home party, I was like, so you can't play this on the radio, but you can play this on TV. Okay.
No, I'm telling you, bro. So these mentality will make some massive fucking land to you. After you build your team, figure out your price point. Even if it's a small price, even if it start at $50. You know what I mean? You got a price point. And then the way that I feel you should scale from there is build a discography. Like there's every independent artist that has ever lived ever will always tell you your discography is your leverage.
AKA do the work.
The work. Exactly. You know what I mean? Even if you say I ain't an album artist, so that's fine. Then got 20 singles ready to drop at every 2 weeks.
Any given moment, you should somebody
got,
say, "Oh, what are you working on?" You should say, "Hey, I got all of this here, so talk to me. What you want?"
Exactly. I would say do the work, build your discography. Once you have that discography, figure out a marketing strategy for it. Like for me, Bridgestone, the strategy was easy. I can just shoot a music video that in a place that just showcases authentic Barbadian culture, like which is like going out funny weekend at a bar and drinking beers with your boys. That was essentially the concept of the video.
Yep.
That video got like 3.8K views on IGTV. You know what I mean? With anybody from like Rihanna brother Gallus to Taff responding, commenting on it, like so it's just like a matter of trying to figure out how to market that. The next step, how do you monetize it? Do you have it on streaming services? Are you a member of DistroKid? You know what I mean? Not everybody is like, fortunate enough for me, like me, that would manage to come across someone that could give you a distribution deal with the Orchard. You know what I mean? Through the label that I met here, CRS. So do you have DistroKid? Like, do you have TuneCore? Like Russ, an artist overseas, he used TuneCore for a long time before he got a major record deal, and he had like 10 albums before he got signed. But guess what? When he got signed and he did that 11th album, the label got shares in the 11th, but every album before that he owned the unique catalog. So guess what? Now he has millions of eyes on him. They're gonna go back through those 10 albums, and he's gonna make profit off of those streams that they can't touch. Do you have a discography? Do you have leverage? And then I would say the other thing is try to throw shows. Like if you don't think you're big enough to throw a show by yourself, find artists that you cool with and be like, yo, alright, you got this little bit of following, I got this little bit of following. We can tell the promoter that we want your effect here. We can get them a percentage of the door, or we can keep the door, and when we grow big enough, we can want a percentage of the bar, and we keep rocking. And
so I guess don't be stingy then, just share the wealth.
Yeah, sometimes I mean like again, not so I don't want to keep bigging on myself. Like my head is like, yo, this Bridgestone song is blowing up. I like people liking it, but there's gonna be a point because everyone has short attention spans. People are gonna stop caring about this song. What do I do after that? I have an album coming up. I need to keep the interest. So I did remixes. I went to people that I was cool with. I was like, yo, I want to do a remix for this song. Yo, I want to come and rap on it. And they were like, yeah. And that increased the shelf life for that song. You know what I mean? To this day, some people even like the remixes more than the original. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, that's still more eyes on what you as an artist are doing. So I said, don't be afraid to throw shows and work with other people. The other thing is link up with the other people that are doing content, like what we doing now, like the podcast. Find people that like I know podcast, what you're doing. Off the top, my friend Aiden, she has her own podcast too. And just try to link up. Taekwon Neblet, another cool person, YouTuber, like that's a good personal friend of mine. Just try to make connections with people, and these are people that a year ago I did not know. I literally just reached out to you on Instagram. I was like, yo, bro, I like what you're doing. Can we? You know what I mean? Like do a session, collab, and do something. So I would say not get discouraged. And the other level is always market yourself to where your audience is. Yes, you would love to blow up in Barbados, and to some level, you still have to build a foundational audience here, so like people can say, all right, well, he has this foundation in Barbados, so that's like when they get to Barbados and they want hip hop artists. I think in Sivers Tha Third. I think in Tef. I think in Shay Bascom. I think in whoever else, you know what I mean, on that platform. But at the same time, you need to try to get yourself into different pockets. There are tons of YouTube reactors out there you could reach out to that do reactions on music and videos that have their own small little niche followings, and just build slowly.
Yeah, listen, I don't know how I did it, but last year, when I first started the podcast, I made it to 6 countries. Don't ask me how.
Hey.
I don't know, but it happened.
That's what I'm saying. And you just gotta keep growing, bro. I would say there is no clear cut way, but like all those steps I just mentioned to you, like evidently the steps are working, because you can look at my page and see the people like I ain't got no millions of people yet, but you gotta build from somewhere. I think every artist feels that they can just drop a song and one day wake up and they got a million views. To that shit don't happen, bro. Like,
It
you
really
gotta
doesn't.
work.
It really doesn't.
You gotta work for this shit. You know what I mean? Unless you on TikTok and you manage this, and again, like that's like playing the lottery.
Nah, I don't mess around with the China Man app, man. I don't do that.
You know, that's a conversation for itself.
Nah. I mean, I see some of the stuff and like, it's all right, okay, cool, I get it. But it's never gonna be on my phone. Nope.
Hey, man, TikTok killing it in the big data.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I'm not doing it. No. No.
They're making money off of your
That sounds
content.
wonderful. I ain't doing it. Not me and that at all. Furthermore, I don't even like social media like that. So
they're selling you data too. So yeah.
I mean, everybody's selling data. That's a tinfoil hat conversation.
It's the new cocaine, bro.
That's a tinfoil hat conversation. We're not getting into that one right now. All right, so I got a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna let you jet. All right.
The man's like, not on my platform. We are not getting looked at by the feds or the CIA. Let's move on.
The tinfoil hat. I mean, I don't give a shit, to be honest. I have nothing to hide. But
I don't know.
Listen, if you know how people get super paranoid about covering up the webcam and all that kind of stuff. Listen, if you look at through my webcam and I in some cheeks, take notes.
Oh shit.
No, I have nothing to hide. I'm a regular ass dude. I ain't doing nothing.
It's true.
You understand? But at the same time, China, I don't know.
Fair enough.
All right.
What's the next question?
So when things get quiet, when things slow down, outside gets dark, and the self-doubt and the negative thoughts start to creep in.
Oh boy.
How do you deal with them? How do you fight them off? How do you push through? What do you tell yourself to not stray from the path of what you're trying to do and end up on the lane where it's like, you know what? Fuck this. And I'm going to give you an example so it's a lot easier. Years ago, Years ago, I wanted to do YouTube gaming. I wanted to game on YouTube. Bought myself a mic. Bought myself a capture card. Figured it all out. YouTube video editor. Figured it all out. Hence is why I can kind of do the stuff that I can do now for myself, because I've done a lot of things over the years, but never stuck to anything, because when it got quiet, when it got dark, and things weren't as rosy and starry-eyed as I thought they would be, I get fed up and quit. So how do you avoid that? How do you fight that? How do you combat that? What are the things that you tell yourself? What are the mindsets do you have in place that says, hey, nah?
I think first off, on a personal level, I have a really good foundation, like a really good inner circle around me. I have a lot of friends, but I would say, I have a lot of associates, but my real friends are the people that I kind of talk to on a day-to-day basis. And they know that even before like music, I've always had like a drive to be successful. There is just like, this is gonna make me sound crazy, but there is like a drum in my head, bro, that just keeps drumming away at me, and it's like, yo, like we have to make it. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, listen, that's not crazy. Well, first of all, I'm batshit crazy, and that's okay, right? Yeah, I'm a bag of cats, right? But I do understand what you're saying, because I also feel no matter how many times I like kind of fall down and falter and give up on things, there's always like I don't want to make a slave term, but there's always like a whip cracking at my back, like come on. Like,
the terminology I was going to use is like, I don't know if you're familiar with the series Vikings, but in my head,
I've seen it.
There's like a constant like big army of drums, just like
I didn't make it
like,
past season 2. He got way too soft in season 2. I don't like that.
yeah. He did. But that was good, you know. Good. He's a legend. But yeah, like there's like a every time I tell people this, they just look at me like kind of crazy. So I don't usually say it, but there's like a drum in my head, bro. Like, yo, we gonna make it, and it's like a very strong motivational drum. But I would say, like, going back to the question, I would say I have two best friends that keep me solid. I have Darwin, aka Ghost, which is like the co-owner of Red Owl Records. Lamar, another investor in Red Owl Records. Got my boy Chris. Like, all of us are just friends from just going out and partying and affecting, and we just was like, yo, like, let we build this industry, let we build this company, and some of them are in music and some of them aren't. Like, Darwin isn't in music like that, but he's a business person. You know what I mean? He's into throwing shows, and I would say having a good foundation. I'd say the other thing is, like, you really gotta believe in yourself. Like, I was doing this when I was getting one view. You know what I mean? Like, when, like, no one cared. Like, you have to be able to do this when no one cares about it. Even when you get something that's, like, very popular, and then eventually that's gonna go away, you have to be able to do this.
I don't know, but I just assume that what I'm doing, no one cares. I just assume.
And see, that's a great mentality to have, because if you talk to a lot of content creators, they will tell you the same thing. They just say, I ain't really doing this to be nowhere, bro. This is me. I would also say that when it gets dark, like, I suffered from depression a lot when I was a kid. I still do to some extent, but I've created, like, healthy coping mechanisms to, like, circumvent that, which is, like, writing, talking to people. I think a lot of times, and this goes back to the whole thing we were talking about earlier about being as men, we don't really talk to each other, or, like, even your close personal friends. You answer, boy, you good? Yeah, that was cool. You know what I mean? And that's the end of the conversation. But I feel like sometimes you got those people that be like, yo, bro, like, going through something. Like, hey, yo, this is what's going on. This is what happened. And y'all kind of try to pick that down.
Well, I'm the therapist of every group, so.
Oh, boy, I am too. So that's funny. That's crazy. But I do have friends that I could convey, though. I think that's important. You know what I mean? If you don't, and this one sound crazy, turn on your recording and just talk, dog. Talk to yourself, talk to God. Record it, listen back to it, and be like, all right, yo, I was waiting.
I kind of put it out. I record it and put it out, because it's a journey, right? It's a journey. So as I'm on this journey, I'm gonna make revelations, and then I can go down the path a little later on and be like, oh well, this really wasn't a revelation.
Exactly.
And then I'll put that out too, and then people are like, oh well, you told me that it worked at the time, but now something else has to work. So,
and I also have a life outside of music. I know that sounds pretentious, but I feel like
why would that sound pretentious? That you don't that you aren't only music. How is that pretentious?
No, because I feel like a lot of artists be like, yeah, if you're not doing music and you're not in it 100%, you ain't really love it.
Yeah, but then you see them throwing thousands of dollars at ass in a strip club. What are you talking about?
Bro, like, aside from this, bro, like, I have a food business that I'm working on with my brother and my mom. Both of them have their own food things. I'm involved in that, like, because my family is like a family of chefs, and that's what we've done. Like, my mom has never had a really traditional job. Like, my dad hasn't either. Like, we've always just done food. So there's that.
Go them.
I'm into like, a lot of guys don't say this, but I'm into, like, K-dramas and anime, bro. Like, I be watching certain things. That's how I review myself. Sometimes I RP One Piece, because I'm a big One Piece fan.
I watch anime for sure. I watch anime. Not so much now, because this current season has nothing that I want to see, but I watch anime as well. I don't watch, like, slice of life anime, because I don't need to relive teenage angst. I've been through teenage angst, right?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I don't need that. I want to see shit blowing up. I want to see people getting punched halfway across the world.
Exactly.
I don't want to see you playing music and eating food. I don't want to see that.
You know what I mean? I dare for Demon Slayer. I dare for ReZero. Like, they're different.
I can't watch ReZero, man. I can't watch. You know what? We're gonna have to nerd out about anime, like, differently.
Another time. But what I'm saying, like, you have to have things in your life that are not just the music, because sometimes if this becomes the only thing that you do, you're gonna get big in it. Like, all of us, like, if you have a consistent model and you get big in the music, fine. And what do? Like, just like you said, you end up getting $100,000. You never had $100,000 before, so you can go in strip club. You can buy expensive gifts for girls that you like.
Hey,
And
wait,
I ain't no
hold on.
banana.
You're supposed to spoil your lady, man. Come on. You're supposed to spoil your lady.
But like I said in Gusto on my album, y'all be studying bras. I trying to get stock exchange. You be cuffing these girls like they Cuban links. Like I ain't trying to cuff nobody that ain't you know what I mean. Like not adding anything to
Okay,
to
wait,
the
hold
world.
on. So let's get into this real quick because I like to hear interesting things. So what you're saying is
I
that
don't want no scrub. A scrub is a girl can't get no love from me.
I know. Come on, you can't be quoting. You can't be nah. Come on.
Passenger side of her best friend ex-man's Ray trying to talk at me. You know what I mean? Like, I serious, bro. Like, what? Why are guys so like enamored by people that
Vagina.
add nothing to their life? Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like that's the answer.
you would, you would. They can just be like, oh, Mike and Sivers are so misogynistic and talk.
But it's not misogyny, right? It's not misogyny. You know what? I really want to have like a different conversation because this is supposed to be understanding the industry. So, but let me just go off real quick. It's not about misogyny, right? It's not about misogyny. It is how things work. It's not necessarily the best way, but as we are seeing now, the alternative is very rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, it doesn't work. For the most part, not saying that it can't in the future, but currently, like, men are slaves to vagina. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Even me, I had a period of time where I was slave to vagina. After a while, I was like, hey, yo, listen, what?
It was like, yo, my brother.
Hey, I literally sat myself down and was like, hey, you realize that she like, I'll give you a quick story. I used to date strippers, right? And there's one particular stripper. She should have turned me off in the experience, but I met some other cool ones that really did add some kind of value to my life. But this one particular one, she stressed me the fuck out. Like she is one of 3 girls that I ever shed tears because of. She was the last girl though. She was the last one?
When you crying, bro, that's a different level.
Was she the last one? No, there was one after. But she was one of the few girls that made me think I am never going to let a woman break me again. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't even care about vagina anymore. Obviously, I would like it.
That's a lady that you tell yourself to sleep at night.
No. I would like it, but you're not going to hold that over my head. Like, I've seen dudes pick up a girl and take her to a nigga's house on the promise of vagina. On the promise. The promise, my guy.
This is gonna let the simps be simps. That honestly, I see simps as natural selection in full effect. Simps exist, and these like terrible men exist to take away all the trash women away from me.
You're trying to get me canceled. You say women trash? I agree. I 100% agree.
The existence of simps and these like trash men are there to naturally select all the trash women away from me. Because at the end of the day, you still choose them, and the simps still chase after them. So as long as they keep shedding on the move pool, I just good, bro. I just great. You know what I mean? I just here. I just existing.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Hey.
All right, my last one, and you kind of answered it already. If you weren't doing music, what are a couple things that you would do? Wait, no, that's not the last one. I have one more.
Yeah, definitely food. I'm very invested in the food business. I want to start eventually along the line to make my family businesses into like franchises eventually. But for now, COVID, we you know that level yet. We just slowly trying to survive.
Just saying, off the top, Sivers Food collab sponsorship, something going on.
Hey man, Showbox. Yeah, Showbox for sure. We can pass through without Showbox.
I love me some food, man.
I mean, give some coupons to give away to the fans.
Well, yeah, hey, we can talk. We can talk. Yeah. Spreading the wealth here.
Another thing, I don't really say this a lot, but I will say it here. My end goal in music side of things is I want to start a music school here. like a private entity school where like you can, after you finish CXC, you can literally come to my school and learn, build your team there, and meet people that aren't want to be in the music
So teach.
industry. Yeah. But not me doing the teaching. I'm gonna get people who are actually professionals at this shit to
You
come
saying
and
that you're
like,
not a professional?
I wouldn't say I'm a professional in studio engineering, but that is also an element that is needed to succeed in music. I would say if it's marketing or like getting your idea off, yeah, definitely teach a course on that. Like being an artist and branding, I think I could offer a lot. But like the other stuff that I'm not good at, which is like video editing, shooting videos, studio engineering, being a manager, understanding marketing and how to position your product, like that sort of stuff, I would definitely get a bunch of people, specialists, experts, friends, whoever, come in, pay them a salary every year to teach the next generation. Because if we do that, then we have something we can control. We have a system, we have a vacuum, you know what I mean? And that's power in itself. I would say those are the two things that are my end goals: the food and yeah, building that music school.
All right, and my very last question: what is the impact that you would like to have on the ears that your music reaches?
I would say this: if you're having a bad day, like often a lot of my days are, and you just need like a place to escape, whether it be listening to me be braggadocious or listening to me like literally failing at relationships like I'm paranoid. Like I want to be that escape for people that they can just come and listen to my songs and find comfort. And I know that this is only like a period of time. There's so many artists that kind of gave me that experience, which is Kid Cudi, Bon Iver, Blue in Exile, like
Definitely Jill for sure. For
exactly, me, that kind of like provide that experience, and I was just like, yo, you know what, like I definitely want to be that artist for some way. And just to be an example, like I know it's taught like, oh, this like deep intellectual level stuff just on at some extent, but I want to be that example, like to show people like, yo, you can be from Barbados and rap, be successful in the industry, have
and you don't need to talk about fuckery.
Throw $10,000 in the strip club, but we can get to that level. Right now, we ain't at that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm definitely not throwing $10,000 in a strip club ever in life. No.
If my manager hears this, he'd be so pissed because he said the exact same thing. I'm just like, bro, like
I'm not. Because you know what she gonna do? She gonna take that 10 grand and she gonna invest it.
And he's just like, no, we ain't trying nothing.
No,
but
I got some tools for you. But
well, I got some tools for you. But yeah, I would say, yeah, bro, I want to be that inspiration. You know what I mean? I'm not really into chains and that stuff. So you ain't ever see me buying like multiple chains with diamonds and that like that. But
yeah, I'm not buying chains either.
I can have some nice stuff that can, accentuate my wealth.
All right, so essentially, what he's saying is that, hey, you aren't alone. Let's take this path together, man.
Yeah, sure. We're building.
Yeah. All right. I think this was great. I honestly think this was great.
Yeah, I tell you that's a good point. Some of got some points that people can be like, they're crazy. But
I mean, but everybody has their own opinion, right? Everybody has their own ideas. Listen, I am wrong a lot of the times. That's all right. Yeah, I'm not a robot. I don't have. I mean, my brain is a supercomputer, just like everybody else's. It's just that I only have the same 5, 6, 7% as you, right? So I can't know everything. Our points can't always be right. Somebody's always gonna dislike what you say, but the way that I see things a lot of the times is that even if somebody kind of says something wrong, there has to be a reason why they believe it to be right. And there has to be a lesson learned from listening to the conversation. Sometimes, get me wrong, sometimes it's just fucking pointless. What you're saying is garbage. But you wouldn't know that unless you listen.
That's true.
So I approach things that there's a lesson to be learned everywhere. Even if that lesson is the, hey, this person here, retarded. Let's not go here again. That's a lesson learned. but you have to be open first. So I do believe that what we said here was great. You know, I may come off as a little prejudiced and insensitive, retarded, because I don't quite understand the industry, but I have a better idea how it works now for me personally, right?
Yeah.
I still think a lot of what they do is garbage, but it's not for me. And it's okay. It's not for me. I can understand why you would like it, but it's not for me. Personally, I'll listen to Sivers Tha Third first. You got some other artists on the album too that I like their sound. I would like to know where to find their music, because I don't know where to find their music. And I don't know where to find them. How do we find these people that aren't just on radios or in parties? How do we find them? Give me an idea before we head out.
Audiomat, YouTube. Nobody don't really use SoundCloud no more. Audiomat, YouTube, and just checking their personal pages too.
Yeah, but how would I like? There should be a place like that I can go to just like find all local talent.
Shut up. Shout out to Select the Chart.
Select the Chart.
Yeah. My guy Paul Husbands, he owns a Caribbean streaming service.
And that's where you go to find all like Caribbean or just Barbados, is it?
Local, Caribbean, all in between, all on Select the Chart.
Select the Chart, guys. That's where you can find local artists, Caribbean artists that may not, that do something other than soca. I'm sure you can find soca there too, but there's more. There's more, right? Yeah. Select the Chart. Sure. All right. I think that's it. Plug where they can find you. Is there anything coming up that we should know about? Tell the people what's going on.
So Thirdian Theory Out Now. Once again, my name is Sivers Tha Third. You can find me on Instagram at Sivers Tha Third. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Audiomat, on Facebook. Everything is Sivers Tha Third as my handles.
Because
on
he's
YouTube,
the third Sivers.
Correct. On YouTube, my handle is SVT3, which is SVT-III, which is just an abbreviation of my name. But you could also still find me at Sivers Tha Third. Projects that I have coming out now. Thirdian Theory Out Now. I'm working on my Red Owl Sense EP Part 2, another project I got coming out. I also have a joint project with a very talented R&B artist known as Lee Phillips. We have a joint project coming out called Sucks to Be You, with production from platinum producer Chris Rose, also Barbadian born. Production from Matt Nixie. So that's going to be fun. And starting from not this month coming up, but for April, May, say June, every month from June I'll be putting out a EP on streaming services for the rest of the year.
Oh, so you working. Oh.
Yeah. Trying to make the most of the distribution deal. It makes sense just getting something and not playing no music. So
I love it.
So look up for me. I'm gonna be grinding, man. Hopefully we can have this conversation a year from now. In Dubai. Chilling.
I don't know, it's kind of hot in Dubai, man. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Hey, man, champagne's cold. That would be good.
Champagne is a waste drink, but I get you. I get you.
Yeah, you crazy, bro. I say champagne is a waste drink. So you drink rum? What do you drink?
Whoa.
This is where it takes over at the end. For the last, what do you drink, bro?
If I do drink, because I don't drink often, if I do drink, I am a vodka man.
Wow, bro. See true, bro? You don't love yourself, dude.
Listen, I've had a lot of drinks in my days, and vodka is one of the few drinks that I can drink a shit ton of and not feel like complete and utter. I like that's a goddamn lie. I can feel like ass the next day for sure, but vodka is like the easier of the drinks. But when I drink vodka, I don't want to throw up the next day. No matter how much I drink, I don't want to throw up. I'll feel like shit, but I don't want to throw up. Other drinks, like I drink too much. Look, we get a Christmas party. I'm a day job, and they're like, hey, go to the bar and drink. I can throw back like 10, 11, 12 vodka and orange juices.
That's crazy. I can't handle vodka at all. So this is such an interesting experience. I'm very good at rum and scotch and bourbon, but
Nah, I
I
ain't
just
fucking
can't.
with rum. I had scotch once. It felt like a ninja was jumping down my throat with a katana. No, no,
Yes,
no,
guys,
no.
that was Sivers the Third. Mike, and this was the Off the Top podcast.
How are you gonna try to end my show? What? What? How you gonna try to end my show? Like, oh, wait, hold on before I mute you. What? But yeah, he's right. At Mike Off the Top, Off the Top podcast on YouTube. It is Off the Top Media. The handles are where they are as per usual. I don't have like a particular outro, but thank you very much for listening. I am your host, Michael Jordan. No, I don't play basketball. Joined by Sivers the Third, and I'm out.